Welcome everyone to episode 69 of Thrashcast. My name is Ken, and tonight I'm back with my two cohorts in crime, Jim and Jason here. So, welcome to another great show ahead of us, another classic thrash album, which we haven't done yet. We have not done any Dark Angel, so that's going to be kind of cool tonight to do that. Now, before we start, though, we'll just give you some the heads up on where you can find us. By now, you all know that we're on Spotify. We're right here on YouTube. You can go to the Horror Metal Sounds website and find us there. You can also find us on what am I thinking here? TikTok, which is new to us. We started posting there, so we're all over the place when it comes to the show. So we hope you can find us. And again, if you do like, subscribe, leave us a comment. We'd like to hear from you. The last couple episodes have been really, really good. We did Celtic Frost, we did Testament, and Death Angel, so it's great. So we're kicking ass and moving ahead.
Woo-hoo.
So before we start tonight, we'll just we'll start with our usual news and reviews. And Jim, do you have anything you want to add tonight?
Yeah, just a couple of things. First off, the new Megadeth, I'm going to talk about the new Megadeth single. Well, it's not out yet, but we got to hear it
Yes, we
secretly. So, it's amazing. And I think it's kind of, I'm so cool. I'm so jazzed up that they're going to release on Friday the actual video and the single, and it's a kick-ass single. I mean, it's like, this could have came off of some of the earlier Megadeth. I mean, it's much more produced, but
how early are we talking here?
I'm talking like maybe even 1990, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, the guitars, it's back to thrash again. Like
the riffs are good. Yeah, there's some good riffs in it for sure.
Yeah. Like the riff at I think 325, if I remember right, is just like Dave just grabs his guitar. I mean, the video's in a prison with zombies and looks like they're doing medical experiments or whatever. And but it's really cool, and the song is amazing. I think it's going to get a lot of positive reviews. I hope, anyways. But can't wait to hear the album, because I think this is obviously going to be the lead single. And what a single to lead it with. I think it's he's going to leave it all on the playing field. I hope, if this is the last album.
What's the track called?
Did you hear
it? It's called Tipping Point.
No, yeah. I didn't hear it. I didn't even know it was.
I sent it to you today.
Yeah, he sent it.
Geez.
Back to the All Father chat. It's there.
Yeah.
I get tied up at work sometimes and miss the chat sometimes, and then have to go back. So I'll have to check it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing
it wasn't released, and you got a hold of it?
Yeah, I got a friend of mine across the pond secretly sent it to me late on, I don't know, when did I send it to you, Ken? Sunday?
Yeah, it was Sunday.
Yeah, I had trouble even sending it because the video I had to chop up into pieces because it was so like it couldn't send that much at once. But a guy just sent it to me and said, "Hey Jim, check this out," and I was like, so I think it got leaked on TikTok, but I think a few people grabbed it before they took it down, and it's been. And I'm not going to obviously put it up because I don't want to be that guy, but everybody's putting it up. They're taking it down right away. So I think it was probably leaked maybe by the Megadeth camp on purpose. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah.
Because they leaked a 30-second clip of it, and then a 30-second clip of the video. But then, we were able to see it. But yeah, Jason, I sent it to you.
Cool. All right. Looking forward to that. I'm going to check it out right after this. Ken, do you like it? You liking it?
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's not bad. It's got some pretty fresh riffs. My only one complaint to me was Dave's voice is shot. He's not you could tell there's just not enough commanding presence in the song. The riffs, the guitars are great, but his voice. I don't know.
I like his voice in it.
You like it.
I don't like the chorus at Tipping Point. It's kind of It's kind of a little bit of a letdown after when he starts really kind of going into it with Mad Dave. He starts kind of getting into it, and then it's just like Tipping Point. It's okay. But I really like this. There's kind of that spoken word thing towards the end of it, but it's not really. It's more of a melodic spoken word thing. It's not like off of Sweating Bullets or anything like that, where he's just talking. But I like his snarly kind of, and it's a little enhanced, but I really like it. I think it's kind of a little bit of an angry return to Angry Dave. So, and the video is amazing.
Yeah. He sounds angry on it for sure.
Yeah. But I mean, his voice, yeah, I can imagine he's, I mean, they're on tour, I think, in Europe right now, opening, I think, for Godsmack.
Yeah, Godsmack.
Yeah, and I see they're only doing, I think, 11 songs or 10 songs or something. But, I mean, I think this is going to be cool. I just hope if he does tour, he comes back here, which I'm sure he will. That Megadeth's been here, I think, 3 times, maybe 2 times. Anyways,
he'll be coming to Canada. Don't worry, dude.
Yeah. And I'm hoping, though, that they'll throw some new stuff in there, because typically his tours are very just, they're kind of the hits and that's it.
Yeah.
But what I'm listening to this week, Sodom.
I saw you just posted that 3 hours ago.
All about Sodom.
Yeah.
Kick ass.
All about Sodom. So I
nice.
Did you get a haul this week or something in the mail?
Yeah, I went to my used CD store and I picked up, somebody cashed in their Sodom collection. So there's a whole bunch there I have on hold, and a couple I was missing, and I wanted this is an original M16. So it's really, really cool. And then I got this about 3 weeks ago, and I forgot to bring it on last week's show. This is, I'm torn between this. I mean, my album of the year was going to be Dream Theater, and no, I love this and the Dragon's Claw album, Moving Target, are right now neck and neck. I don't know which one I'm going to pick. My Dragon's Claw is on its way. It's coming out of Europe, so it's expensive and taking forever. But I got this one here, and I got to admit, I told, out of the, this and Destruction, this one's way better than the new Destruction one, even though I do like the new Destruction. And a Creator has a new single out, so
I heard that already.
And I also picked up last year's Molder.
That's a great album.
Reconstruction. It's a great album. I never picked it up, and it came on my feed for, hey Jim, check this out at a great price. So I just bought it, and I love it. It's great. Nice. Yeah. So that's what I got. But yeah, a bit of a haul this week. And then I got drunk on Saturday night and then made a big order through Nuclear Blast. So I don't know what's I got my email the next morning and I was like, oh, shit, I ordered that. Oh God. Luckily it was all on sale.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good, Jim.
That's
How about you, Jason? Anything you want to plug, or you heard anything going on lately?
Not really. Mainly this week was just all about the Blue Jays, so I kind of lost track of metal. It was a Blue Jays sort of week, so I just been deep in the baseball for the last week or two. But no, but some news. Did you guys hear that one of my favorite hardcore bands, unfortunately, Lou Kohler, the singer of
the cancer came back.
Yeah, sick of it all. His cancer came back. So
I heard
that sucks. It sucks.
Too bad.
Doesn't sound like it's good though, from what he said.
No, because it's esophageal cancer, right? So it's definitely affects his singing voice and his barking voice. What else was happening this week? Oh, and then Creator dropped that new Seven Serpents single.
Love it.
You guys are loving it? Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I don't mind it.
And then they announced what was it? Crushers of the World is the album?
Crushers of the World, yeah, that's right. It's coming out, I think, next month.
I love that lyric.
No, it's January.
In human form. Oh man, it's really good visual song. It's a good video too.
It's catchy. It's catchy. And then Ghost is teasing a North American tour, we think. We don't know. Did they announce it or not? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't hear that.
They're coming to Montreal and Toronto in February, I believe.
Right.
No Halifax. I'd go see them if they were coming to Halifax, but man, I wouldn't go up to see them. I'm not that big of a, but I have bought, I'll allow this to be televised, but I've bought their newest album and then the last album, and I've even gone back and bought 2 more albums. I don't mind them, even though I was dead against them originally, but now I don't know, it's growing on me.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. I'm the same. I don't love every track, but every album has a couple of good tracks, I think. And then Lamb of God is teasing new music this week.
Oh yeah.
Then too? Oh cool.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh shit. There's a lot of great music coming out.
Yeah. I think that's about it. But
and Soulfly. Oh,
Yes, that's right. I sent you that, Jimmy. Yeah, Soulfly. New Soulfly was released too.
Holy cow, that thing was on fire.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Did they drop an album or just a single?
It's coming, I think, in October.
Okay.
But two singles are released.
They just released a single.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good single.
Oh, amazing.
Pretty good single. Forgot about that. Damn. There's just so much. It's easy to forget. There's just so much coming out.
Oh, it's a bombardment. Like last Friday, I mean, I was excited about the new Mariah Carey album, but other than that, I gotta admit I'm joking. But there was a new Mariah Carey album. I was like, oh shit, there's a new Mariah Carey album? I didn't mean, not that it would come up on my feed or anything, but I was like, I never heard that was coming. But anyway.
Yeah, that's weird.
Oh, yeah, you gotta have that tune. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so like there's still some news. Like Axl Rose. Well, no, actually, before I do that, Flotsam and Jetsam just got signed to Napalm Records, and they just said that they're putting out a new album next year.
Okay, wait, they're moving from what label to Napalm?
They're going to Napalm Records.
From who are they with?
Oh, it was like an indie kind of.
Oh, was it?
Label.
Okay, yeah.
The last album, so they're going back to a major label.
Okay, cool.
It was just announced. I know Dustin Hardman. He had it on his feed. He announced it that they signed a deal.
That's good. That's
a new album next year, 2026. So I thought that was good news.
Yeah,
it's good news.
Yeah.
And then I also heard that Voivod's releasing a book in November 17th, which is called Always Moving: The Strange Multiverse of Voivod.
This is a autobiography, or?
Yeah. Some of the history of the band. Jeff Wagner, if you know him.
Yeah.
He's doing the writing on the book.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is interesting. Jeff's American. I always thought they would maybe find like a really good Canadian writer to work with. But
now, did they announce they're doing this, or announced that it's coming shortly?
It's ready to order.
No, it's ready to order.
Wow.
November 17th is when the release date. See, that's something I thought they would work with, like Martin Popoff or someone like that, because Canadian. But yeah, so apparently Jeff Wagner is the one who wrote the book with them.
And I guess it's a massive book. It's I think they said it was like 3 or 4 pounds.
Is there going to be artwork too?
That I'm not sure of.
No, I don't think I've seen artwork for it yet, but I'm assuming it's done by the cover's done by Away. But
yeah.
I've not. I just saw the announcement, but I didn't see any images for it.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sure there is if you look it up, though. Yeah. That was the one thing I didn't do. I didn't even Google it. I just saw the announcement, like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I think the video game's coming out soon too, if it hasn't already.
Yes.
I'm excited for that.
It's great. Video game
really
book.
Cool. Yeah.
Here it is here.
You found it.
I don't know if you can see that, but it's.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's the cover. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Almost like their box set, their last box set cover.
Well, I'm a sucker for a good book, so metal autobiography. So I will definitely be picking that one up.
Yeah, same here. I've read stuff from Jeff Wagner before, so it's like, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
And it's 540 pages with a 12-page cover spread.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a massive book. I won't be reading that one in bed, crushing down on me. Jesus.
Yeah, that's a massive
512 pages?
540.
540?
Yeah.
Well, it did say to celebrate 40 years of the band, so I mean, makes sense. There's a lot going on in 40 years.
You know what? You know what's weird about this though is, like, to me, they've always been kind of like, they were never in the spotlight, and never don't really hear much about their private lives or
no.
I don't know if this is going to be an expose of weird shit. I don't know if I want to know that because I kind of like that we don't know a lot about them. There's like
you like the ambiguity angle.
Yeah.
So. I can see that. I don't know how telling it's going to be. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
I mean, they had a lot of interesting moments in their career, like when Newstead came on board, and
and they were one of the hardest working bands too. Besides, they tour constantly. they're like, I think it was 2 years ago, they put out, I mean, they had Synchro Anarchy, then they had their kind of not obvious first choices of saying that they did the where they did the singles and that, and then they did with and then I believe they had 2 new tracks on that, and then they did the box set, which was really cool, all in the same year. So these guys, and then they did the other one there. What was it? Not Omega Man. The cartoon. They did the theme for that as well, and a whole bunch of stuff.
They're super busy. I hope Eric's involved in this in some way, because that's my favorite era. So
yeah.
You
love those 2 albums. They're wicked, aren't they? Yeah.
So I mean, I know he's now in Forbidden, but I mean, I'm sure he's doing both projects at the same time. So we'll have to wait and see. Yeah. And then, so this is also, I saw this. Axl Rose announced that they're working with a company to produce a comic graphic novel of Appetite to Destruction, which is kind of neat. What? Sumerian comics. Well, a lot of bands are doing it now, because a couple of years ago, Anthrax did Among the Living comic as well. They did that. I have it. It's a graphic novel. So I guess a lot of these bands are starting to get into that.
Is the Among the Living one, like, is it based on the theme of the album or the
what they did is they actually wrote comics around every single song.
Oh, okay.
So all the songs are represented by a short comic story, which is kind of neat. I like
it. Was there anything written about the album cover specifically? Like, was there a story there?
I can't remember. I'll have to pull it out.
I
read it. I read it when I first got it, but I haven't looked at it in ages. Like, it came out like 2 years ago. So,
because whenever I see that album cover, and I don't know, but I'm sure other people think that Poltergeist.
Poltergeist. Yeah. So, Poltergeist, and
I think Randall Flagg.
The argument. Well, they never really said it's meant. The argument was: is it Randall Flagg or is it Henry from Poltergeist?
From Poltergeist, yeah.
So it's a combination of the two, but they never really said who it was.
He looks definitely like Henry from Poltergeist.
Yeah. That's what most people say. It's Henry. It's that character. But he's around all these people, so people are saying it's Among the Living. So let's make it of it what you will, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this Guns N' Roses one could be interesting. We'll have to see.
I mean, I guess so. If they have art from Charles Williams, who did the cover of the original album, that'd be kind of neat, but I don't know. I just don't know what it's going to be like.
And he did he do the original album cover with the girl being
yes.
Okay, cool. That was a wicked album cover.
Yeah. I always liked that cover.
Same with me.
So we'll see. I don't know. Might be cool. There was no announcement for a launch date, and the artist and the writer they chose, I don't really know them, so I'm not too sure who they are.
Right.
They all sound like fresh faces. And then if you want to go to Allfather, you can check out my review for Paradox, the album.
Oh yeah, wicked review, Ken, and I ordered the album.
You should.
Yeah, I mean, I know of Paradox, and I've listened to them before, but that album, as soon as I read your review, I played it digitally, and it's now stuck in my psyche. I got to get it.
Well, basically, it's just him now. No band. It's just basically him. He did all the recordings.
That's wicked.
I have to admit, I'd never heard of them, and then I did see.
Really?
I never heard of them.
Well,
and then I saw that maybe it was you and Billy were talking that they're an old German band. Like,
yeah. They've been around.
But it's just one guy.
Yeah.
No, it's a band, but for some reason, this current album, he's decided to go alone.
Yeah.
So he didn't bring back any of the original members on the project. It's just him. Which is kind of strange, but I know Billy said he gives it a 9.5 out of 10 easily. I gave it
like one of his favorite albums of the year.
Well, he loves. Yeah, Billy's a huge fan of Paradox. He loves that band. I like them too. I'm a huge fan as well. But
I don't know how they slipped behind me. I don't. To me, it sounds like the way you guys speak about them. Like, Jesus, I should have heard of them.
Yeah. You know what though? Like the Amorphous album that was released on Friday, and here I was looking forward to it. I think I even pre-ordered it. It hasn't come yet. It totally, until I saw Miles's review, I was like, "Oh shit, yeah!" Because I was listening to so much stuff.
It's hard. It's hard sometimes.
I'm complaining about it's metal is so good now. It's successful. I love it. Yeah.
And there's just so much of it. It's
So
just hard
much
to
of
keep
it.
up.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, sometimes it's like that. You can only hear so much music.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. But yeah,
I
so
even woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning on Friday night morning.
Yeah.
So I woke up just to listen to that Creator single.
Did you?
Oh. Yeah. Because it went
Nice,
live
Jim.
on Apple.
Boy, you're committed, buddy.
Oh yeah, no, I'll even the Ghost single for Skeletor, whatever. My buddy texted me, man, are you gonna get up at it's midnight Eastern time? I said, yeah, I'll do it. I got up and listened to it, and I even posted it back then. But no, I love I want to hear it as soon as it comes on Apple Music. I don't think it hit YouTube till later that day, but yeah, I set my alarm, got up at 2 a.m. and searched for it.
It's funny, I totally forgot about
man.
it. I forgot about it until you mentioned it, Jim. I'm like, oh yeah, it's Creator.
Yeah.
I forgot about it. Oh yeah, Creators. I forgot.
When I saw that album art, I thought of you, Ken.
Yeah, the cover's really nice. I like the cover too. It's pretty wild. We'll see. January is not just around the corner, so
yeah. It'll be a good one for next year to start off the year, right?
Oh yeah.
I was just going to say it won't be a year ender for you.
No.
No year enders, right? So true. Okay, guys. So we'll get into a few questions that I dug up for everybody to give your thoughts on. The first question I wanted to ask you both was like, so the critics love this album, and many believe it's a very influential record for like especially death metal as a genre. So I just want to get your thoughts. Do you think what's your thoughts on that? Do you think that's true? Do you think there are other bands that adopted that style? Jason, let's start with you this time.
Yeah, I think it was released in 86. No worries.
Go for it,
yeah.
Jason.
So I think releasing in 86, I think you can call this basically a proto death metal album for sure, to some regards. You have tracks like The Burning of Sodom, which is essentially a death metal song, well, a proto death metal song. You can hear kind of I hear what Morbid Angel would later do in that song, maybe even some Death, Possessed. So I think just the sheer speed of it, all the tremolo riffing, and Hoagland's like an absolute technical monster on this album. Yeah, I think it kind of laid the groundwork for definitely what would become death metal just a year or two later. Yeah, maybe even black metal too. Like it does have some atmosphere to it. Um, the vocals are a little crazy. That maybe kind of foreshadows some of the crazy shit that would happen in black metal a few years later. Especially with like first wave acts like Bathory and some of the second wave Norwegians. And the title track, Darkness Descends, it kind of does have a bit of an icy feel to it that you would later get in black metal. So I don't know about doom. Maybe there's a bit of doom in there. There's some slower crushing riffs, like in Black Prophecies um, but yeah, I don't know, not really a Sabbathy groove. It's just more oppressive and weighty in parts. So I don't know about the groove metal. I didn't pick up on the groove metal there.
Me neither.
Yeah,
maybe some Sepultura like stuff going on, early Sepultura, but not really. But yeah.
If anything, to me, I think the closest comparison is Creator to me. They sound a lot like Creator in the same kind of style because the vocals are very shrill the way that Millie sings the songs. So that's what it reminded me of mostly was Creator. That was the first band that I thought of that they're very comparable to.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. Yep.
That's what I thought. What do you think, Jim?
Oh, I agree. I mean, I think it's more of a blackened thrash, but more maybe even definitely leaning on a lot of death, like death metal. I think I agree with Jason where I think this would be like if you were looking at a thrash band now and saying, okay, what kind of influences did they have? I mean, I think of Sodom's first EP, which was really leaning towards black metal, or proto black metal, I guess you'd say, and it was very much thought of, I mean, Jason's the expert in this, thought in the black metal community as sort of that proto sound that they did. I think this kind of had that feel to it for me, but I mean, it still has a lot of thrash elements, but definitely black and thrash, black and death. Maybe the vocals a bit more thrashy. I agree, Ken. I think it's the more Millie vocalization, maybe musically a little bit of a mix of anything from maybe mid not old school Sodom, but a little bit more mid, and then like I'm talking mid, like maybe the late '80s, and then with I still get some Metallica, old school, kind of old thrashy Metallica vibes in some of it as well too. But I think it's a great album, and I love the album cover. I agree with you guys. It kind of stood apart. Like I think I got it in '88, so I got it a couple years later. But it stood apart from all the other thrash bands that were kind of bringing out, a lot of thrash albums. It was a little bit different. It had that sort of darker kind of I don't know, feel to it. So even from just visually looking at it, you were thinking, ooh, what's this? I gotta check this out. And I love the logo, as you can see behind Jason there. It's fantastic, one of the most recognizable logos. And they went on they had a couple good albums, which I know we're going to talk about, maybe their latest one, but I think it is one of the most, I think on a lot of people's thrash lists, this is usually makes the top 20, this album.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. That makes sense. I mean, it's 1986. So
oh yeah,
like
it's the birth of, you're not far off the birth of thrash here, but they took it a little bit different too, where they, you can see elements of black and elements of death in there as well too. Yeah, I agree 100% where, this is like almost templated for a Morbid Angel, I think.
Yeah, yep. And like there are some bands today that that are doing Darkness Descends, but from a more modern approach, bands like Black Anvil, which you made a good point, Jim, like black and thrash. That's essentially what this is, to some degree.
Well, probably the start of it too, because I don't think many bands were doing that style.
No. Oh God, no. No, maybe Possessed and
Possessed.
Well, they have lean a little more heavily on the death metal, but even Sepultura, Morbid Visions, and Bestial Devastation. So,
but not many bands though were doing that.
No.
So they're like one of a handful, maybe at tops.
Yeah.
Cool. So the next question I wanted to ask was, I was reading a lot about Gene Hoglan, and there are some people who think that his style of drumming and his contributions to the album is really sloppy, which I thought was kind of odd. So I guess I'll just throw it out to you guys. Do you think it's sloppy? What do you think of his contributions? Jim, you're shaking your head. We'll start with you.
I think he's talented. I think there's one song on here where I think it's a little chaotic, maybe the drumming, but I don't really agree with that. I think he's I've read a lot of stuff in preparation for this, so I was reading where he's even said that he kind of just went kind of balls out and he just went like for it, and there was some times where he felt like he was maybe like a train going off the rails a little bit, but I kind of like it. I think it's not perfect, but I don't want a perfect album. I love these albums from the 80s and that, where this has great production for the time period on it. You can't complain about that. You can hear the bass really good, the drums, you can hear everything really, really good. So the mix on it, I find, is pretty good for the time period. So I don't know. There's maybe, I think one song, I'd have to read my notes, I said that it was a little chaotic. It just seemed like maybe he's trying too hard on that song and trying to fit in a lot of different beats and stuff. But I really enjoy his drumming, and I think he's pretty talented. It's fast. This album, some parts of it is super fast. So,
So true. What about you, Jason? What's your thoughts?
I think Jim's onto something here, but I think it's less about Gene being sloppy and more about trying to rail in the other guys where things are total chaos. Okay. And I think he was what I think people are perceiving as sloppiness is him trying to find a backbone. And the musicians he was working with at this point, if you listen to We Have Arrived to this, there's a clear difference in the technicality going on.
Oh yeah.
And they were experimenting with the technical aspect of the riffing and everything. So I think, what Jim couldn't, or Jack couldn't do, Jack was just more holding it together. Everyone was kind of in time. I think on this album specifically, everyone was trying new things. Everyone was, entering the realm of chaos. And I think it was on the shoulders of Gene to kind of rail that in, or rein it in, and try and do something with it without it completely flying off the rails. And that's maybe where it's perceived as sloppy. I don't think it's less about him and more as a unit that, parts can sound, like you said, Jim, a little chaotic.
Yeah, but his contributions should be noted here, especially for lyrics and for music.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, like, to me, it's like you could tell, like, he's a big influence on the group, a different change with drummers. And like even Durkin and Mayer both really, with their guitar style and playing, they really upped the ante from the first album. At least I thought.
Well,
yeah.
Well, he also has, I think, 5 writing credits on the lyrics, and I think he has the music credits on everything. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a huge force in the band, obviously. So I mean, obviously, it's technically his band, I would think now. I mean, now that Jim Durkin has passed on, I mean, basically the bottom line is he's the dude who pretty much runs things. I mean, his wife is playing guitar. And then I also heard that apparently the reason why his wife's in the band is because that was one of Jim Durkin's final wishes before he passed away, is that he wanted her to take his spot for guitar, which I thought was interesting.
Wow.
I didn't know that, but that was interesting.
Yeah.
So,
we also have to remember here that, like, he was just starting out, right?
Exactly.
And like, I mean, to call it sloppy is just crazy. Like, they were just intentionally pushing things to an extreme that hadn't been heard before at the time. And kudos to them if they didn't experiment like they did with this album. Who knows what would have become of extreme metal, to be honest. Might sound different today without the contributions of this album, or guys like Hoagland pushing the limits.
And that's true, Jason, because there's so many from this era and even onwards. There's so many thrash bands that just couldn't, like, I think of Whiplash, for instance. They are a talented band, but just couldn't reach anything because it was just kind of the same, it was thrash. They went with the same sort of recipe compared to these guys that were changing it up a little bit. And I think everybody, the first one through the wall is always kind of bloody, the first one through the walls gets bloody, and then everybody follows in behind. So I think of it as that type of album for me.
And it goes to show, like, what he went on to do. Like, he's such a legend just because of this album, and of course Leave Scars and Time Does Not Heal, but this album started it all. And you're only a legend based on your legendary work, and that's legendary work.
Yeah, that makes sense. I could see that. So the third question is pretty simple. It's just, where would you rank them in the thrash pantheon? Would it be like top of the top, middle, back? We'll go with you, Jason. Where would you rank them?
This is kind of tricky because
I know.
While it obviously, okay, what did we have that year? We had Slayer, Rain and Blood, we had Master of Puppets, we had Peace Cells, we had Pleasure to Kill, and then we had this. And obviously it's not going to sell or get the same sort of attention that the other bands I just listed did. But it does have an influence. Its influence is undeniable. But I don't know where I'd rank it. I would say it's in the upper tier, but just in a different realm. You know what I mean? You can't put it in the same light as Rain and Blood or Master of Puppets or albums like that. But you can't deny its importance. So I don't know. It's really hard to do. Like, is it second or third tier thrash? Well, saying that makes it sound like it's not good, but that's not the case. It's just not as It's just not as visible, and it wouldn't become as visible for you. I don't think I'm not sure that it was even a huge album at the time, right?
No.
I don't think it
And
was, no.
no, and it eventually would become a huge
Over
album.
time, yeah.
Yeah, become a Hall of Famer. So yeah, I mean, Leave Scars did much better, and then Time Does Not Heal did far better than Leave Scars. So I mean, they were just on a upward trajectory from here.
Yeah, right. That's true. Very much. What about you, Jim?
I think this album is more of a musician's album or a band's album, because you hear so many bands talk about this album, being one of the ones that kind of was one of the top ones that gets them into metal and got them going and they loved it. Another band who's not similar to this, but Voivod, that we were talking about earlier, I think like so many black metal bands cite Voivod as one of the bands they really like and they listen to, and I think they kind of have that going for them, and that's what's panned Dark Angel as legendary status. Because when I have my idols and my bands all liking a band, I definitely go to check them out, and always have and always will, because I want to know what the heck got them to write what I like from them, and maybe get something out of it. It's always a learning curve, but I think that's what it is. I agree. I don't remember in the record store this having a big display, or it kind of snuck in there. But and I remember seeing the ads in like some of the more, I think maybe some of the more European metal. I used to get one. I can't remember what it was called. It was a bigger book. Anyways, I used to get it for Christmas, and I'd see it in there, and that but I like Hit Parader never covered Dark Angel or anything, like that.
No.
They were more, but I think it's definitely gained so much momentum since then, because people are reevaluating and seeing it for kind of the first time, and I think it's that much of an important album.
I agree. Yeah.
That's true. But I do remember seeing at my local record store.
Oh yeah.
They had a poster up on the wall when
I have it on cassette.
Yeah, I have it on both CD and cassette as well. Yeah, same here. But I remember when it came out, because the poster was up at the record shop, and I was like, "Oh, this looks pretty cool." And I was immediately drawn to the logo. And then you get this, you get this great big huge, cemetery stone there, and it's great. I mean, it's like, oh, that's cool. There's death, or at least an image of death. So,
I'll be honest, I didn't hear the album until after I heard Leave Scars. And
did you? Okay. Yeah, you came later.
Yeah, so
okay.
Yeah, I mean, this probably would have scared the shit out of me in '86. So by the time Leave Scars came out, I was acclimated to go back to listen to this.
Yeah, I get that. That makes sense.
And I remember, Time Does Not Heal. That was more representative. What year did that come out? That early 90s, 91, I think.
So yeah, 90 or 91, I think.
Yeah, and I think that got a big push, like physically in the stores a little bit more than this did. I remember going in and picking up my copy and being like, "Oh wow, this is Dark Angel Wicked," So
well, I think at that point they were riding the same wave as Testament and bands like that. Maybe obviously not as big, but still, they were getting into the glossy mags, and you'd see the ads everywhere. And that album has an iconic album cover. I can picture it in my head, the girl standing wherever she is.
Oh yeah, that's right. The girl.
She's very 80s kind of.
Yeah. But yeah, this album cover, man, oh man, like for the time, it just really hit mid 80s horror themes and stuff going on with horror movies at the time. So they nailed it there.
Full marks on the album cover. Yeah. And everybody, like all the new fans, younger people that are watching this podcast, when you grew up in the 80s like we did, you went into a record store kind of, you didn't know necessarily even heard a song off the album. So you're going in kind of really cold. And the first thing that's how I bought See You in Hell from Grim Reaper. I walked in and went, I need this. This is going to be cool. I don't care what it sounds like. And I mean, luckily, it was awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And I bought it and I was like, oh, this is so good. But you used to, that's what you saw. I mean, See You in Hell or Striper. I'm going to See You in Hell, anyways.
I get that.
Yep. Well, it definitely has an iconic album cover, but if you just saw a picture of Steve Grimmett, you'd be like, who the fuck is this ugly motherfucker?
Yeah, they had some great covers too.
Yeah,
they did. Yeah,
for sure. So just the last question before we get to the album. What do you guys think of Extinction Level Event? We'll start with you, Jim. What are your thoughts?
I don't like to join in on I try really hard. I got to be honest. I'll spin things for a number of times just to try to get kind of what I want to do here and what I want to get. Like I sometimes I try to force myself to like things, and I do that. Like I did that with the last I don't know, 10 Metallic albums. I'm joking, but the last Metallic album I was trying, and every time they release a single, I was like, okay. but when I gotta think in my mind, when I gotta force myself to like something, it's one thing to listen to something like the latest Dream Theater album and really start to get into it on maybe the sixth spin, that you're starting to hear different stuff and it's starting to make more sense to you. There's nothing wrong with immersing yourself like that, but I've listened to a number of times. The single, really, as soon as I heard the single, I was like, the hell is this? And it was just kind of a bit of utter shock. I don't know. It's just, I can't get into it. So I've lost interest there on that. So it's just not my thing. And I mean, I know they just played Toronto and they're on tour right now with Hyrax, who I absolutely love. But I just, man, like, I don't know. It's just, it's maybe a bit too different, I think. And maybe and I know I've watched a lot of podcasts where they're rating the album really low, really poorly, but I usually don't let that bother me. Like I'll go in and even like, I like the last Machine Head album that got poor reviews, but I liked it. But this, I just can't get into it.
Fair enough. How about you, Jason? I know you've heard it.
Yeah, I think it's a weird time to release an album. How many years later? 35?
Something like that, yeah.
Because the hype train was just insane for this thing. And there's no way, even if the album was marginally better, or I just don't think I don't think it ever could have lived up to the hype.
Good point.
The hype of, they're back. Boom. This is going to be Darkness Descends, like a repeat of this, or whatever. But I just think that, and also like we have to look at like how much of this do people just cannibalize each other? Like someone says it's shitty, the next person says it's shitty. Then it just gets this whole snowball thing where everybody just starts saying it's shitty because you don't want to be the guy that said it's good because everyone else, all your peers are saying it's shitty. But I'm with Jim. It's a shitty album. Like it's not because I'm afraid to say it's a good album.
No,
because everyone else is panning it. It's just not a well thought out album. There are good ideas here and there, and really great ideas actually here and there, and you can hear them. But they just never threaded them together in the way that they have before with some of the classic albums. Well, all the previous albums were classic. So I don't know if like, I know that Gene wrote the majority of this album.
Yeah.
And, not having Dirk in there, I don't know.
Well, I think Durkin's a main reason why it doesn't sound that great. He's not there.
But Jason, you hit it on the head. I think the hype, maybe that's where it was just slated to be this extinction, extinction level event type thing that we were supposed
the album
to get.
said, the name says speaks volumes.
It's okay for a band to have a stinker of an album, but not one that hasn't released anything in 30 some odd years.
Yeah, but
like, can they come back from this? Like, really?
I don't know. I'd have to see the tour live to know what they're like. How live? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we know that Ron's vocals are just shit. Like if you watched any videos of the live their live shows, he just doesn't sound the same. Like it just and you can hear it in the new songs too. Like I just don't know if he can't do what he did on Leave Scars and Time, but
well, it's
I don't
30
know.
years, dude. It's 30 years ago, so
Yeah.
people change, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I knew
Well,
I
we were talking about you
yeah.
said it at the top of the show, Ken, that Mustaine just doesn't sound like Mustaine anymore, really, right?
No. He's not. He's a former shell of himself, really.
Yeah.
Sure, he's a great
So
guitar player, but
age definitely has something to do with it, I'm sure of it.
yeah, you're right. Well, to be honest, as soon as I saw that cover, I knew it's AI. It was that was the first negative thing. Everyone said this is an AI cover. It is an AI cover. So they already got like bad points for that right off the bat. So it's like, oh shit, here we go.
Yeah.
And then you hear that, it's like I agree with you, Jason. There are some good things in it. Like some of the guitars aren't bad. You can see they're kind of pulling from the bit of the past. I'm not sure about Gene's wife as a guitarist. I didn't really find her to be exceptional, to be honest. There were some of the solos were okay, but I didn't really.
Nothing outstanding.
No, not that's what I'm saying. Nothing really grabbed me. But I think the major thing for me was the vocals. I did not like them from the start. And I know people connected to the band were complaining, saying, "Well, we're sort of like I guess defending the vocals." But I'm like, dude, this guy is not the guy from 30 years ago. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry.
And were you a fan of his vocals previously?
I didn't mind them. I actually prefer Don Dottie to be honest.
Same here.
I preferred him. I like that style because when Reinhardt's okay, but I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. I don't mind the vocals from the last two albums, but I always preferred Don Dottie, to be honest. I like that style. I like that shrill style a lot more.
See, and I'm the opposite. This is why I was so excited for this album because I prefer Ron. I love Leave and Time, and I love his performances on those. And it's just even to this day, I love them. And I think he's just more of an experimental vocalist on those two albums specifically, and compared to what Don was doing. But on this album, maybe he experimented too much, or maybe like we said, he just can't do it anymore. He just doesn't sound himself, and it just didn't really work. So
I think what you said, Jason, the hype. There was so much hype. There was I think there was supposed to be the first gig at the Whiskey, and then the forest fires happened. So they kind of, and it was just like this, we're all waiting. And then when the first single dropped, we were all like, I got to be honest, I was kind of confused. I was like, really? Wow. Okay. And it was that feeling, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I was so hyped for this. I'll compare it to when Violence came back a few years ago.
Oh,
fuck, man. And like Killian killed it. Like,
yeah, he's still a good vocalist.
Oh, he's an amazing vocalist. And that last album and that first single they released on that last album, just killer stuff. And it sounds like Violence, and and I was hoping for the same thing here, but no, didn't do it.
You didn't get that. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I get it.
It's too bad, but
yeah, I would agree. It's too bad. All right, so we'll just do a brief bio on the band. We've already been discussing them now for a while, but they formed in '83 in Downey, California. They had 4 albums and then disbanded. Then now they've reformed. Don Dottie was the original vocalist, and he was replaced by Ron Reinhardt. So you had Hoagland in the band on the drums. He came in the second album. Jim Durkin and Eric Mayer on guitars, and then Rob Yan on bass. So that's a pretty solid lineup for a band. Darkness Descends was released on November 17th, 1986 on Combat Records, produced by Randy Burns, which we also kind of mentioned, the wonder kid of like death and thrash albums back in the 80s. I didn't really look up what the sales were, but I don't think it really charted very well, and I don't think the sales were super great. If I'm being perfectly honest, but
yeah, I don't think so.
But I mean, it's legendary for a lot of people. We love it. Most of us remember it, and I saw that a lot of people do have it on. I think you mentioned it, Jim. A lot of people do have it on their like top 20, top 10 lists for all time thrash, and that's fair to say. I think this album definitely should be on anyone's top 25, at least top 25. I would.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great album to listen to. Like I can listen to it over, and there's not a bad track on here. So
absolutely, absolutely. All right, so we'll get into the album. The first track is "Darkness Descends," obviously the title track. Now, this song I really like a lot, and I'll tell you why before we go into it. Because basically the lyrics are about Judge Dredd. Now, Judge Dredd is one of my favorite all-time comic book characters. Anthrax has covered it. Anthrax loves them. I love them. So the lyrics on the song are basically about the dark judges who take over society. Society collapses, and the dark judges take over. So I think it's great. It's very unusual. It's the only other band I know that covered a Judge Dredd song. So I think it's awesome. Hoagland did the lyrics, and Durkin and Hoagland did the music. So we'll start off with you, Jim. What do you think of the song?
Oh, I fucking love this song. I mean, this is where I get a darker thrash, like black and thrash vibe to it. But I like the drums. I think the drums on this song are great. I mean, that heavy kind of fadey intro with the wicked drums that cut in, and that leads to that 30 seconds in. There's a cool riff, and then about a minute 37, it goes into like a heavy thrash chug, which I love, and then it's like almost 2 minutes, 150, I think it is, and the vocals cut in. So I think it's like a mix between musically Slayer with some old school Venom sound to it, but not in the vocals. That's just in the music end of it. I mean, it's definitely a darker sounding thrash song for me, and I love that heavy scream, that kind of the end vocal there. That's pretty cool. I mean, what a way to start off an album. I mean, there's only, I think, 7 tracks on this album, so this one here, just, oh man, this is like 2 tracks in one for me. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the Venom vibes. I have that in my notes too. That I do get a little bit of a Venom vibe to it. Just how menacing the song really is overall.
Yeah.
So what do you think of it, Jason?
Yeah, I think to touch on Jim's point about he was getting that feeling, that blackened feeling. It definitely there because there's a lot of minor key chromatics going on, which are, essential to black metal. So they were delivering the minor key stuff prior to most of these bands, and that gives it its kind of ominous, darkened feeling. There's a lot of really cool descending riffs that kind of set that mood, that darkened mood before, as you mentioned, Jim, it just kind of boom right into like thrash, right? Lots of tremolo pick guitar lines. I think Gene's drums are, they're crazy as shit, but they're also pretty precise because this song, there's a lot of tempo shifts.
Yeah.
And it's really chaotic, and he does hold it together. Going back to that sloppy thing, he's definitely not sloppy in this song. He pretty much holds it together. And very cool. I didn't know that, Ken, that this was Judge Dredd. I can see it now when I was going over the lyrics. I was like, yeah, this is the onset of some sort of apocalypse, some sort of something swallowing humanity. But definitely the Judge Dredd thing. Somebody was a fan, apparently.
Yeah, I would assume Gene, since he wrote the lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing about Judge Dredd is that like the dark judges were the opposite of the judges. So they wanted basically to turn. Think of like Pinhead. Think of like Hellraiser. They wanted to turn the world upside down.
Yeah.
The best line for me is that this is the best line, I think. The city is quality. The crime is life. The sentence is death. I love that.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
That's the whole like ethos to the dark judges. Judge Death is such a great character. I love that character.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it's great that another thrash band comes out and they're playing Judge Dredd, or at least homages to Judge Dredd.
Yeah, that's really cool.
But you guys are right. It's a relentless song. Those riffs, like the screams, the vibes, the pacing on here is incredible. For me, I think this might be my favorite song on the album. For me,
it's definitely mine. Yeah.
The next one's mine, but this one here is a close, I mean, this is like one of my favorite starting thrash tracks on an album.
Yeah, I would agree.
Gets you in the mood. And I would like to go back to the first time I heard this. I always feel that way when I hear these older albums. I'd like to go back to younger Jimmy and say, hey, like, what do you think? And just hear what I had to say back then. You know what I mean?
That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
We heard Jason say it would scare the shit out of him.
Yeah, it would. It would.
Well, Jason,
it would.
we're going to stick with you. Let's hear your thoughts on track number 2, the burning of Sodom.
I think this is, as far as tempo, probably the fastest song on the album. I mean, if you listen to, especially to Gene's drumming, it's just double bass pretty much through the whole song. Definitely like a proto death metal song, proto Cannibal Corpse song or something. It's just
exactly.
It's quite repetitive. It's not as chaotic and as many tempo shifts as the previous song, as the title track, but it does, the velocity just it's maintained throughout the entire thing. Very cool song. Yeah, probably my second favorite song. I'm guessing this is about Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
and yeah, Doty, his vocals are fucking awesome here. He really is anguished, and it fits the title, The Burning of Sodom, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, and he co-wrote the song with Durkin and Hoagland, so like cool. Lyrics wise, and Mayer and Durkin did the music, so you can pretty much see how, you know, Hoagland is like, he's all over this thing. He's practically all over this album, so it's funny. It's just people say he's sloppy, but anyways. Insane. Jim, let's get your thoughts.
Yeah, I love this song. It's probably my favorite on the album, but although I see the next one, I have a one decided too, so I might have been, I don't know, arguing with myself. But this one, super fast. I mean, this is a little more like a blackened speed metal, but it's got a really cool thrash groove, and that guitar solo at 212 is phenomenal. But I like how towards the end of the song, the drums get heavier and kind of make it a bit more thicker, and kind of maybe recenter the song a little bit to slow it, not slow like a ballady slow, but maybe just make it a little bit more controlled aggression. And I really like that. And I think that's why I like this song. But yeah, super fast and just amazing track. And that's the first thing I thought of was maybe early Cannibal Corpse, where I was thinking,
like eaten back to life.
Yeah,
musically,
not vocally, right? But definitely musician-like, and some of the track sounds definitely sounds like that.
Well, I find the vocals get a lot harsher as the song goes on.
Yeah,
it's one thing I noted is, the vocals are really harsh here. But I guess when you're trying to keep up with the pace, and it's such an insane pace,
the
chop, the riffs, like, you know, and that tempo, it's wicked. It is a wicked song.
And like we say, insane pace, like comparatively to today's paces in some songs, not. But back then, wow, this was blistering. Like I'm sure, like, you know, just the average. Well, you guys were the average thrash fan back then. Did it when you first heard this track or this album? Were you like just like, holy fucking shit, this is just more brutal than anything I've heard?
I remember when I first heard it, I was like, whoa, this is new. I took notice. You take notice because, you know, I mean, out of the big four, Slayer is the only one that had that different sound a little bit from the other three. But then you hear this and it's like, whoa, okay, so it's a different approach. They certainly had something that other California thrash bands didn't have, for sure.
Yeah.
So I would think so.
I'm just saying, it probably didn't just scare the shit out of me.
No,
can't be the only one.
I thought I got it in more towards 88, and I thought it was more along the lines of Scream Bloody Gore, not the vocals as heavy as that, but kind of had that feeling to it. The first time I heard Scream Bloody Gore, I was like, holy shit, blown away. You know?
Yeah. Cool. So Jim, take us into track 3, Hunger of the Undead.
This is another, like, we're track 3 here, and it's just amazing. I mean, that riff leading into a cool bass line kind of was wicked. I mean, the bass is very predominant in this, and I love that. It's, again, another fast song. It's almost a minute before the vocals cut in, so you're kind of going on that journey again. I like how they do that in a lot of their songs. It's not just right out of the gate. But there is, in the vocals here, I find that there's hints of some more melody, a little bit more melodic in some cases, still super heavy. You know, I find at about 207, there's that riff that sort of leads the song into a bit more, again, of a darker feel to it. And then, and you know, at 311, there's also another super riff that just explodes. I think the song's just great from start to finish. And again, sort of that thrashy death sound, a bit more darker, is just keeps going, and it really, it doesn't get old. It doesn't get old at all.
Oh, you're right about that. What about you, Jason?
For me, it's all about the theme of this song. The lyrics, Hunger of the Undead. I fucking love that title.
Yeah.
Obviously an homage to classic horror, zombies, feasting on the living, just it just really does a great job, both lyrically and musically, of just capturing 80s horror cinema. And I really love that. I really love it. Like the Undead, it's like you mentioned, Jim, it's definitely to me it's fast, but there's a bit of a mid-tempo thing going on here and there, because like the main riff, I don't know, it's almost doomy in a way compared to what's going on in the rest of the album. But there's also a bit of variety in pacing in the song too, which is cool. But I think the song does a great job of just capturing from an extreme metal perspective, um, uh, horror cinema of the 80s. Love it.
I could see that, based on the fact that the lyrics are discussing the idea of heaven and hell, and then they throw in this thought about reincarnation. So yeah, they're really playing it up on the song, I think, as well. My one thing I note, for me, my big note, I guess the thing I noted mostly was how Dottie sounds a lot like early Millie. I sort of got that right off the bat. Like, well, this sounds a lot like Millie. That's when I was thinking about the creator comparisons. I hear he just really sounds like early Millie. So I kind of like it. But yeah, the song is kind of crazy. You guys are both right. It's song title itself. And then, again, these lyrics are by Gene. So he's obviously really good with lyrics. There's no question about that.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm impressed. It's like, well, three songs in, and Gene is pretty much, his hand is all over the songs.
Yeah. I would have loved that this album was called Hunger of the Undead.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Well, based on the cover.
Yeah.
The hands coming up out of the ground. Yeah,
exactly.
You're right. You're right. They probably could have went for that.
But I mean, the title they chose is cool too. But
and around this time, you got Night of the Living Dead Part 2 and all these zombie movies. It would have been.
That's right.
That's why they're writing these 80s horror. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Agreed. Totally agree. So track 4, Merciless Death, is funny because it inspired another band. There is a modern, well, I guess like more current thrash band out of California called Merciless Death, which I really like, a 3-piece band. So it's kind of interesting that they took their name from this song. But we'll start with you, Jason. What do you think about Merciless Death?
Well, this is a rework from a track on the previous album, We Have Arrived. And if you compare the two tracks, this one's definitely, obviously, has better production, and obviously better drumming, because Gene's just a better drummer than the hell's his name again?
Oh yeah, I forget his name.
Yeah,
can't remember.
Whoever, but definitely
Schwartz.
Yes, yeah, Schwartz. Definitely more complex. Not my favorite song of the album. It's okay, but I just feel like at this point of the album, I'm kind of getting the vibe And I probably wouldn't have gotten this back in the day. I definitely didn't get this, but it's starting to sound a bit samey, a little bit to
Yeah.
me. And this is why I prefer albums like Leave Scars and Time Doesn't Heal, because they experimented a bit more. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that I was bored by this point, but yeah, I was a bit bored with this song. And I think it's just because things are starting to sound a little bit samey. And not that it's a bad song at all, but I prefer my Dark Angel to be a little more robust, a little more experimental, um, little more of a repertoire. And I think we're losing it at this point of the album. And this track to me kind of just falls into the same kind of tropes as the last few songs. Not that that's a bad thing. These are good songs.
Mm.
But
Fair enough.
this is 2025 Jason speaking.
Of course, yeah, yeah. Obviously, your younger self may have a different opinion about this.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure. What about you, Jim?
Yeah, I mean, I think it has kind of the intro sounds like something that Annihilator would do. Like, I wonder if there was any borrowing there from Annihilator, because I listened to this like
maybe.
10 times and I'm like, sounds like something off of the first Annihilator album, Alice in Hell. So I'm like, kind of has that. But I mean, the guitar intro is cool. It's got kind of a slide. I call it a slide riff, but I'm probably wrong, where the song takes kind of a slow dip and then it just totally explodes. I can see where Jason's coming because we're 4 songs in and I still feel that they're still pushing that kind of evil sound. And it's like, okay, I think it would have been probably more prudent to maybe do just a straight on thrash track here. And, maybe just kind of, okay, we're going to do that. And then kind of have fans think, okay, we're back to like a thrash song here. It is way better than on the one on the first album. So it's much more improved for sure. But yeah, it's a pretty good song. Yeah, I don't mind it.
Well, it's one of the first tracks that doesn't have Gene involved in the writing or the music, which is funny because Durkin and Dottie co-wrote the lyrics. But I kind of like the song. I like the repeated chorus. We'll give you merciless death. I love that. It's just great. I love how that's reinforced. But
yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I could kind of see the sameness. I hear what you're saying, Jason. You can sort of see that it's a style like this. You can only take it for so long, and then eventually your ears might get bored of the music. But it's still pretty. I think the second half of the song is actually quite relentless. I think it's batshit crazy in the second half for me. But I can see where it might sort of wane on you a little bit.
But like for the time, it definitely didn't.
No, I'm just yeah. If when you first heard it, I'm sure you were like, "What the hell?"
Yeah,
it blew you away. But yeah, you're right. 2025, you're like, yeah, it's good, but yeah, you can pick up the things you like out of it and what you don't like. So I get that.
Our ears are different now. We're trained a bit different, and it's almost unfair sometimes, I think, to go back and look at these albums. And it's cool to do this, but to some degree, they live in a different time, and it's really hard to recapture the mindset of that time to really talk about these albums and do them kind of justice for what they were at the time, because it's just totally different now, you know?
Well, true, but we're also from that time period. So I think
yes,
we're gonna talk about at least we were there. We can provide our perspective of what we thought.
But even albums like, Rest in Peace, it's different to my ears today than it was back then. And sometimes it bores me, sometimes it doesn't, But back then it definitely didn't. I just think maybe now we have a more uh, varied palette.
Well, not only that, but you have to understand that you've probably heard these songs over and over and over and over. So
that's true.
Eventually, like for example, I love Among the Living. It's my favorite album of all time, and I've heard it thousands and thousands of times. It never gets old for me, but I can listen to it and go, yeah, it's cool, and then I could easily like lose interest.
But then at other times, it might be the best thing in the world,
Right. So it's like that for anything, any kind of music you hear, you'll Rust in Peace, Master of Puppets, whatever. I don't know. I guess when you've heard it for so long, it's
Yeah.
the way it is, right? But it's a good point. So let's go to track 5. Death is certain, life is not. Jim, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of where it gets a bit samey for me, but I do like that heavy thrash classic intro. Kind of gets you going, but again, it's a heavy, darker vibe, kind of a little bit still. I find it similar to the past 4 songs, so I'm starting to kind of, for me, this got a little bit samey. Probably the song I wrote the least amount of notes on, but I still think it's a cool song. I just it's okay. I think he's got some great high clean vocals in it, which are really good. But I don't know. I would have rather, like, at this point, I'd rather a couple of maybe more, I guess you could say, more quintessential classic thrash tunes. Maybe leave a little bit because there's still a couple more tracks to go. And but anyways, that's how I feel about it.
Okay, I like the song. I think it's pretty cool. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, I agree with Jim. I think we're starting to see the formula here. It starts off with a really dark kind of weighty riff before exploding into a thrash onslaught. There's again some contrasts here and there between the speed and more chuggy type stuff going on. Yeah, it's cool. I love the title, Death is Certain and Life is Not. That's simplistic but genius.
Yeah.
Gene Hoglan. You can thank
Yeah,
Hoglan for that. He wrote the song.
I fucking love that title. Like
Yeah.
you can just read that title in it. When I read it again the other
Mhm.
day when I was preparing for this, and I'm like, that's so simple yet genius.
Yeah.
It gets you thinking. That is definitely
Well,
certain.
it's all
Life is
about
not.
euthanasia, the lyrics.
Is it? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what
Okay.
what Hoglan was getting at with the song.
And at that time, was euthanasia a big topic?
I don't think
Like, did
so.
we have Kevorkian, or was that before?
I think that came a little bit later, I think.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
I think not many bands would cover this kind of a topic, but I guess if you're trying to show how badass you are, why not? Like
Yeah, yeah,
lyrically.
yeah.
Hey, Acid Bath had that Kevorkian painting on their second album.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. Yep.
And then they also have what
John Wayne Gacy on their first album.
Yeah, I had that album.
That's wicked. Anyway, sidetrack.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a decent song. I don't mind it. I guess I can see what the two of you are saying about how it's starting to become a bit samey. But this is funny. I'm going to go to Jason on this right away because I know he loves the last 2 albums. Black Prophecies song number 6 is the start of, I guess, the start of where they start experimenting, because I know Genie's even mentioned this song as the platform that they develop the next 2 albums from. So what do you think of the song, Jason?
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know Gene
That's
said
what
that.
he said.
And I, that's what I have in my notes here. This is by far the most experimental song in the album, by far, like hands down. It really is the kind of centerpiece. It's not my favorite song, but I think it really is the centerpiece to the album, because it's like, what, 10 minutes long or almost 10 minutes long?
8 minutes and 7 seconds.
Yeah, okay. And it's
It's
just,
long.
yeah, and it does have a lot of different movements. It like shifts from, from classic thrash to doom to death metal. There's lots of different atmospheres going on and tempo changes. And I even hear some progressive type stuff going on, which we would hear later on in Leave Scars and more prominently in Time Does Not Heal. And I think Hoagland's drumming is just fucking genius here because he really drives the whole thing. And like
Yeah.
I don't know what the lyrics are to this, but from
It's Nostradamus. That's what they're talking about.
yeah, I guess, yeah, Black Prophecies, that makes sense. But whatever the narrative is there going on with the lyrics, he's driving the narrative musically with this. Like by far, it's his drumming. And he's a masterclass here. And this is the Gene Hoglan we would later hear on Leave Scars. And more so on Time Does Not Heal. But yeah, an absolute centerpiece to the album. Again, not my favorite track, but I would have loved to hear this song redone on Time Does Not Heal, because I think it would have fit perfectly on that album because it is a much more progressive album, and this does have those early progressive elements to their sound. I would have loved to hear a redo of this, but yeah, it's a great song. Yeah.
Yeah, and Hoagland wrote the lyrics and he co-wrote the music with Durkin, so obviously his hand is all over this song too. And I know it's about Nostradamus because in the lyrics they talk about the Black Death, they talk about the Great Fire of London, they talk about the rise of Adolf Hitler, which all was predicted by Nostradamus. Since I've read a lot of books on him over the years, so I think it's a cool song for that.
Yeah.
Jim, what do you think? Do you agree with Jason?
Yeah, I like this song. I like the fact it's over 8 minutes long because the album to me is too short. But I like the fact that, but if you're gonna do a shorter album, at least like you have a long song like this on it, and but it's different than everything that's on the album. So for me, it's like, okay, we're sort of recalibrating here.
Yeah.
It's almost like they threw everything but the kitchen sink at this song, and I really like that. I think it
But
does.
it worked. It
Yeah,
worked,
it
right?
totally
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
And I agree where Jason said maybe this could have been reimagined on maybe one of the next couple of albums. And maybe would have fit in there as well. But I think it's a great, I think it's different, and I like that. You come out of maybe a kind of a samey song, and then you're just hitting it different with a really long. It's almost like it's not my favorite song on the album, but it would be in my top half. But it's like their magnum opus of what they want to do here, I think. And they saved it for the back end of the album, and I think that's really cool and commendable. I think it's the risk taking, but it just fits. I don't know what it is; it just fits, and it's cool.
Well, I think lyrically is where it fits.
Yeah.
But
true.
I think it's obviously we need a song like this since we're all sort of feeling that, the songs are blending into each other a little bit and they're getting a little samey. So you get this. So it's a fresh,
nice change of pace.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I would think too. I don't mind the song. I mean, I think it does meander a little bit for my taste. I like the first minute and a half. Like that's pretty good, and then the vocals don't cut into almost 2 minutes in. You do get a nice tempo change at like 5:50, which is great, and then that leads into the solo, which I don't mind. I think the song is all right. I wonder if they're going to play this song live on the tour. I'd be curious.
Yeah,
play the song.
Actually, I can check now.
Yeah, it's on Miles's review.
Based on the fact that Gene is saying that this song was the blueprint for what came next, which I find interesting as well. I didn't even know that either until I read it. I was like, oh, interesting. But yeah, it's a cool song.
Yeah,
I like the title, Black Prophecies.
Yeah, that could have been another album title.
Yeah, I could see that too. Yeah. Although Hunger of the Dead works more for me, but
no, they didn't. They didn't do it live. No,
they didn't. Okay, yeah.
No,
I think they maybe wouldn't because it's Don Dottie sang it and not Ron Reinhardt. So that's possible.
Well, they did do Darkness Descends, it looks like. And
I would. Yeah, they would.
The Burning of Sodom. Yeah,
they'd have to do that song for sure.
Merciless Death, they did.
Yeah. But I hear that from what I was reading, it seems to be a popular song. Merciless Death. All right, so the last track on the album, Perish in Flames, Jim.
Yeah.
I think this is a good ending for the album. Okay.
Yeah, I think it bookends the album really well. I don't think there'd be a better way to end it. I love that die, it's fast, it's heavy, it's got everything. The growls in it are really cool. There's parts of it that gives me a little bit of, in the early part of the song, a little bit of a Hetfield vocals, but I like the drums on this. I think this is probably one of the better better in the sense that I don't know where all this sort of I think you guys explained it really well, but I think that this is one of the better drum tracks, and I think some of the best riffing is on this song as well. I really like it, and I think it's a great way to end off the album. I mean, at first when you're looking at it, I think this album's only 35 minutes long. I believe. So,
Yeah,
and, you come off an 8-minute kind of magnum opus, kind of walking around, trying to maybe, incorporate all kinds of different things, but then they kind of again recalibrate again. And it's just a killer track.
Yeah, it's about war. So I mean, this is the
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff that most thrash bands like writing about.
Yeah.
The onslaught and the onslaught and the conflict of warfare. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, I think Jim hit it on the head there. I think this one does a good job, like the previous track, at recalibrating a bit. It doesn't follow the same formulas as the first, I guess, 5 tracks did. These last 2 tracks really kind of get away from the sameness, and I like it. I agree with Jim. I heard Hatfield here at some point too,
Yeah.
and definitely a bit more. I don't know. I'm not going to say traditional thrash vibe to it, but maybe something a little more palatable here as far as just, I guess, classic thrash. I was getting that a bit more than I did with the rest of the songs. Yeah, I think it was a really great track to end the album. I love the album title. Um, yeah, being about war explains a lot. But definitely a perfect theme and perfect musical endpoint to this great album.
Yeah, you can't have a thrash album without a song about war. It's just,
No, you can't.
I mean, it's mid-80s. That's what you get, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
I think the song does fit right at the end. Like I think it's great that they end off on this kind of a note. Much
Yeah.
like the first song, it's gnarly, it's fast, there's some screaming, there's some harsh vocals. I like the chorus here. The chorus is pretty good, I think. Yeah,
yeah.
it is a really solid song the way to end off. But 35 minutes, it's a little short, but I often wonder if it was longer than 35 minutes, would it bore you?
Well, we were starting to say
True.
sameness, so it's possible. I mean, okay, the track previous to this one, what was it, Black Prophecies?
Like prophecies, yeah.
It could have been 2 tracks. I mean, it essentially is the length of 2 tracks. So, um, yeah, I mean, I wish they, for some of the earlier songs, maybe expanded a little bit, done a little bit more, maybe added a minute or 2 extra on maybe a couple of the tracks. I feel like some of the tracks were a bit too short. But I mean, for the style, it's like Deicide's debut album. It was 35 minutes long, and it's the
Yep.
perfect length. Perfect length. Any more than that, it might have been a little too much. So I think this album does a good job uh, of fitting everything in within a good amount of time, not to
I
leave the
just think
listener bored.
the rawness overall is what I like about it, and it's got lots of energy. So it's
Yeah,
it's never it's never really boring. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're right. When we were kids and we heard this, we would have it just blew your mind. But you hear it now, and it's like, yeah, I've heard this before. I've heard it in other bands, but I don't know. I still appreciate the raw style. It does remind me of Creator. I prop it up against like Pleasure to Kill because it has the same sort of energy and feel. I mean, Pleasure to Kill is probably a better album than this, but the two, I can put the two in the same category to some degree for me. And Jim, you have any final thoughts on the album?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I love it. I think it deserves all the accolades it gets
Mm-hmm.
from and it would definitely make my top 20 or 25. It's hard to say because there's so many. Like Jason hit it on the head when he starts when he brings up, like, you're bringing up Rain and Blood and so many thrash albums that are phenomenal. It's hard to compete on that level, but I think and I just think it's a legendary album, and in order for it to become a legendary album, it has to be that good. So, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
and I think one thing I wanted to say was it depends on what metric we're using as far as boredom. Like if the metric we're using to constitute whether an album is boring or not is just purely on speed and aggressiveness,
Mm.
then this album is not boring. But um, if the metric is, are they using the same tropes throughout most of the songs? and they just bleed into one another, then yes, it can become a little, and boring's not the right word, because this is definitely not a boring album, but it can become a little uh, redundant. And,
Yeah.
so I think you have to, it depends on the metric you're using. So, of
Mm-hmm.
course, if an album's fast, it's never truly boring. But if that aggressiveness is using the same elements all the time, then you're hearing repeated riffs and you're hearing repeated patterns more than 5, 6, 7, 8 times per song, then yeah, it can become samey. But all in all, I think for the time, this album definitely paved the way for what was to come.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. That totally makes sense. Okay, so that's the album. It was a good little talk about it. I mean, obviously the next two albums are where they really hit their stride, but eventually I'm sure we'll get around to talking about those two albums at some point. So our last segment for tonight, I just wanted to get away from the mixtape. I love the mixtape idea, but let's do something a bit different. So I thought, well, this is their sophomore album. It's obviously better than the first album. So I thought, well, if we could all just pick five albums, five sophomore albums that we think are, better than the initial release.
Jesus
So
Christ, Ken, could you have picked any more difficult task? Holy
really,
shit.
did you have a hard time with that, Jason?
I
Really?
did. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot. There's a lot. It was hard to
It
nail them
was
down,
easy. It
but
was
I
easy
think
for
I have a
me.
good list.
It
What's
was easy
that?
for me. I thought
Oh,
it
was
was
it?
easy, but
Yeah.
I didn't have a. I knew already what I thought was going to be from my five. But Jim,
But I had to go
yep,
back because
you
like
had to go back.
yeah, because most of the albums I have are not within the past 30 years. So it was channeling
Well, it could have been
young
any year. It
Jason.
didn't have to. Like
Yeah,
I said,
no,
there
I
was
know, but
no any
yeah.
year. I just
I
wanted
just
to.
had to go back and think what
Yeah,
fucking albums. And that was tough to do, but it was fun. It was fun.
cool. Well, Jim, why don't you start us off?
Can I go second just because I'm having
Sure.
technical difficulty? I just got to
Yeah,
charge.
no worries. Jason, go for it.
Sure. Okay, well, the first one I'm gonna go with, they're in no
Yeah.
order. The first one is Gorguts with the Erosion of Sanity. Um,
Woo, good
so
one.
I was a huge fan of Considered Dead. It's probably in my top five death metal albums.
Hmm.
I fucking love that album, but when Erosion of Sanity came out, wow. I
Yeah,
mean,
they upped the ante on that album.
oh yeah, it just was a giant leap forward, um, where they brought in the technicality
Hmm.
that was maybe, I'm not going to say lacking. You could hear kind of permutations of it in Consider Dead, but they really brought forward the technicality and erosion of sanity. And I think you can call this album a tech death album before tech death was even a thing, before it became overly clinical, technical death metal, that is, because this album is not overly clinical. It
Mm-hmm.
does a great job of balancing tech death with the brutality of early death metal, 90, 91. It's got really great atmospherics that make it really unique, I think, among a lot of the death metal albums of the time, it's just a totally different album. And I think it serves as like kind of the missing link between early 90s death metal and later experimental strains because there wasn't a lot of experimentation in death metal at the time. Every kind of more sound Scott Burns produced album, all of them are great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not all of them, but most of them are great, but they weren't too different from each other. But this one, I think, was the missing link between that early 90s death metal sound and what would come later, where death metal became more experimental. So yeah, in short, I think Erosion Sanity is a sophomore, one of the best sophomore albums because it shows a band going from super promising to incredibly innovative. And to do that at that time was risky, but they did it in a smart way. And it's brutal, atmospheric, definitely ahead of its time, and kind of I think out of all the albums I'm going to list here, it's the one that ages better than any of the ones I'm going to speak about. And yeah, just a great album. My
I went
second
back to
one,
look at the cover. Sorry to interrupt. I wanted to
yep.
see the cover, but I think I like the first cover better than the first album.
Yeah, I love the first album cover. The second one, it just looks like a giant heap of garbage
Yeah,
or something. I don't know what's going on there.
yeah,
Um, but the first album cover is fucking incredible.
yeah.
Um, so my second album would be Cryptopsy with None So Vile.
Oh, good one.
I
The
I
wicked
think,
album.
yeah, I think,
Wow.
Blasphemy Made Flesh was already an incredible album, but I think None So Vile kind of distilled all the elements of Cryptopsy's essence into like an incredible, like technically uh, superb and memorable album. Not only was it technical, and sometimes technical can mean there's not much, there's nothing memorable about it. If a
Mm,
band becomes too technical, it's hard to recall elements of particular songs. But what they did was married technicality to memorability in a way that no band had done before, I think, at that time. And like every track has a very memorable moment or two in it, and it's still blistering and technical beyond belief. I think it's cited by probably most technical and brutal death metal bands as being like the pinnacle of technical brutal death metal. Bands like Nile, Origin, Spawn of Possession. Um, Numerous bands have used this album as a blueprint. And then you've got the performance. I mean, Flo's drumming alone just set a new bar of technical ability with that album that drummers are still measured against today.
mhm.
And he no drummer at that time was doing things like that he had done, and just an incredible album. And the legacy, even today, in conversations, it's brought up as one of the greatest death metal albums ever made,
Hmm.
and I think it's for that reason alone, it makes my list.
Cool.
And then third would be Mayhem with De Mysterious Dom Satanas.
Oh, good one. I never
I
did
mean,
those. Yeah.
that's a wicked album. Yeah.
So like technically it's a sophomore album, but the album they had a lot of bootlegs and demos and shit before
That's
this
right.
album, and they had the EP Death Crush.
Hmm.
So this is technically the follow-up to Death Crush. Um, so you know, I think if we were just to base this historically, this album released at kind of the height of the Norwegian black metal scene. It actually came out much later than it was recorded. So albums like some of the early Burzum albums actually came out before this album.
Hmm.
Um, because there was a bunch of shit that happened, obviously, which required this album to be delayed a bit. But this album still sets the bar, I think, for what would become, I think, black metal moving forward from here. And it's dark, it's immersive, it's atmospheric. It's inspired entire generations of black metal bands worldwide. I think without this album, even though it came a little later, it still has the sound and the aesthetics that had they not done it, I think black metal would have been very different. And then you have Attila's performance,
Hmm.
which was
Yeah.
incredibly unique. Everyone else was just screeching and screaming,
Yeah.
and he essentially just put this thing over the top with a very artistic approach to the vocals, which hadn't been heard in black metal before. And I think it makes it really unique for that reason.
Jason, just a quick question. So this album, they had it written earlier, but they took a while because it was a more professionally recorded album, correct?
Yeah, it was recorded at Grieg Holland
Yeah.
in Bergen, which was I've been there. I
Hmm.
actually that's when we go see Beyond the Gates every summer. Um, the last 2 days are performed at Grieg Holland, where all
Oh.
these incredible black metal albums were made back in the 90s. So
Hmm.
really cool to go there. But yeah, it was recorded with Python, and Python was the engineer, and he kind of helped these bands define the sound at the time. And he was a real engineer. Like he he worked with just kind of every genre of music, but he
Hmm.
really understood what these black metal kids wanted to do, and he really brought this album forward. And and Varg plays bass on this album. A lot of
Hmm.
people don't know that, but yeah, it's just such an incredible album. The album cover is fucking awesome.
Hmm.
So yeah, without this album, definitely black metal would not be the same. So, and then I'm gonna kind of stick with black metal for my next one. It'll be Dissection's Storm of the Light's Bane.
What
Yeah, yeah.
what a barn burner of an album. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
I
I have
mean,
that album, yeah.
the Somberlane was a great album. It
Yeah.
was groundbreaking, but Storm just tightened the
Oh,
songwriting,
Yeah.
raised the production quality just through the roof, and it leaned way harder into the melody that we heard on Somberlane that they were trying to get at. You
mhm.
could just hear the melody like they hadn't quite broke through with the melodic aspects like they did with this album without losing the ferocity of what you heard in the Somber Lane. And I think this album, its influences, I think it was the template for melodic black death metal bands
Mhm.
like Naglfar, Sacramentum, Dawn, Tulkandra later on, even elements of Dimmu Borgir. I think they kind of owe everything to this album. Even bands like In Flames and Dark Tranquillity and what would happen in the Gothenburg Swede scene owe a lot to this melodic masterpiece. I think few records have, if you go back, I think few records have captured that the feeling of there's a few things here: icy, grim, majestic, and melodic all at the same time. And this album does that. And it's
Mhm.
timeless. Like nearly 30 years later, it just hasn't aged. It's
Yeah.
still, I think it's still, it sounds like it could have been written and recorded today. It's that good. And I think, yeah, I think it gets the respect it deserves.
Oh,
But
totally.
I also think it's a super underrated album to some degree. It's not good. And then
Yeah.
my last one is going to be I mean, okay, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong here, but with schizophrenia, Sepultura be a sophomore because Morbid Visions and Bestial Devastation
Yeah, I would
were
count it. It would be this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would count it. Yeah.
yeah, okay. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure. Because those are two independent albums, right?
Technically, yes. Yeah.
Technically,
But
yeah, but I would consider the second album.
yeah, because they were also merged. I think for
Yes.
I think for the American market, it
Yeah,
was the
they were
same thing with
merged.
Celtic Frost
Yeah.
with their
That's what
first
I was
EP.
going off of, the
Yeah.
merge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll stick with that. So schizophrenia, obviously
Oh,
a leaps and bounds
Yeah.
musicianship wise over Morbid and Bestial. Night and day, can't even compare them. I mean, those two albums are great for what they are, but this
oh,
is where we see Sepultura become Sepultura,
yeah.
go from a local act that no one ever heard of anywhere outside of fucking Sao Paulo or Brazil to a
Hmm.
serious global contender. This was the album, right? This is the album
Yeah.
that got them noticed by Monty Connor and eventually got them signed to Roadrunner, right?
Yep.
So yeah, birth of the absolute birth of the classic Sepultura sound. You can clearly, I think, hear the seeds of Beneath the Remains here,
Oh yeah.
even Arise. Um, just the precision, the layering, and all the focus began here. It's still rough in parts, and I mean, I don't know if you guys are fans of the re-record.
Yes, I am
Yeah,
huge
I love
fan.
the re-record. Yes,
Me
yeah.
Yeah.
too. I know that we've talked earlier that, it's kind of blasphemy to go back and re-record these albums,
Yeah,
but I
but
think this is one of those albums that deserved that because it was
Yeah.
lacking in the production department
and it was
and
faithful. They didn't
it was
change
faithful.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And influential as far as influence, I mean, I think it pushed extreme metal forward in South America and showed that,
Hmm.
Hmm.
Brazil could rival Europe and the US in terms of thrash and death metal. And yeah, I mean, this album definitely showed what not only Sepultura were capable of, but other bands out of Brazil were capable of. And it's just as far as its legacy, I think Beneath the Remains obviously gets more attention, but I think diehards recognize Schizophrenia as being the true turning point, and it's the record that that made the world take notice of this incredibly unique four piece of youngsters. And yeah, that's my list.
Great. That's a great list, dude. It's
Yeah.
awesome. It's awesome.
And I
So good.
agree. I love the
Yep.
not only do I love the re-record, but they need to stop. We don't need to go anymore with the
No, no more.
re-records.
No, no, no.
Yeah. But I love it.
Meet the
I
Remains
love that
doesn't need it. No.
they updated the album art too, and I have the original and I have the new one, and it's just, oh man, just thinking about it just gets you so excited because those, I consider them, as they released the Cavalera ones all separately as well. So I consider them full on albums for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. All right, Jim, let's hear your five.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, I picked Celtic Frost to start with. I consider Morbid Tales, when they released it in North America, they made it into a larger, it went from an EP to kind of a full-length album. So I did the same thing you did. They released to Megatheron, which, oh my God, like,
classic.
Just, yeah, I mean, you can't, it's just, this is a classic case of just, I mean, I love Morbid Tales, but it just went from just a whole level up to Megatheron. And, you know, and then they even went up from Into the Pandemonium, which I really enjoy that album. And I know, like, we've talked about it many times, and it's kind of an acquired taste for some people, but I know I really, really like it. I know it's Ken's favorite album by them, I believe. So, I mean, you can't get, so, I mean, those first albums from Celtic Frost are just, everybody, I mean, it was just, it laid groundwork for so many bands. And I mean, holy cow, you know, Tom's vocals and just his vision, I think, you know, it's a sad ending that it came to an end, because I don't think it had to. And you guys gave me more appreciation for Cold Lake, so that we talked about 4 episodes ago. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, that's a killer album. And I love the album art alone, just gets you see that. I've got the cassette, and I'm going to send the cassette to Ken, because he's a big collector. I have the original Bonsai records, so yeah, it needs to be in his shrine. So
yes, sir. I appreciate that.
My next one that I pick is I'm going to go with Testament. I love the Legacy. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, the New Order is my favorite Testament album of all time. I just think it was just, again, you got that just step up. You know, they were really coming into line. I know a lot of people would argue over Practice, but I think Practice, for me, they were just, by then they were just going even higher. So I think this was the kind of the album that really they kind of cut their teeth on. And they started being a little bit more, you know, the writing started getting a little bit better. They left behind a lot of the more fantasy stuff and more darker imagery, which I like. It's just, I think they went a little bit more current, and I really like that. Another one for me would be Death. Another one for me would be Death. And do you guys still have me there? Yeah, okay. Sorry, I lost you there. Another one for me would be Death. Just Leprosy from Scream Bloody Gore. Look, I love every Death album. I love Scream Bloody Gore. I remember getting it for the first time. But again, Leprosy is man, I keep going back between that and Spiritual Healing, but Pull the Plug, my God, it's my favorite song. And just the writing and just everything. And it was much more, I find it better produced, even though I do like the production on the first album. It just was, you know, miles ahead of that in that sense. But still, holy cow, what an album. And then when you go to Spiritual Healing, it's even a step up. So it just kept going, these bands. I pick a more obvious one, would be Judas Priest. I got to go with Sad Wings of Destiny. Rock-A-Rolla is a good album, and they just had I think the 50-year anniversary release, so it's been cleaned up a bit in that. But I think that Judas Priest really started finding their sound on Sad Wings. And then their next album after this, Sin After Sin, is actually my favorite Judas Priest album of all time. You know, it was 1977, so I wasn't listening to it in 1977, but it was my first metal album I ever got in 1980. I got it at a flea market. So I just love that album, and there's so many great songs. But Sad Wings is where you can start seeing the genesis of where Judas Priest was going. And that first album, you know, you could say the same thing about like a band like the Scorpions would have been a great example. I didn't use those. Their first album, Lonesome Crow, is an acquired taste. A lot of, especially in the North American market, I like it, but you know, the next album, after that, they started getting a little bit more, finding their way a bit more. Megadeth, Peace Cells. I love the first album, but Peace Cells just kind of sent them into the stratosphere as well. And that's, amazing album. We all know it. So, it's just, and then they just went up from there. And to be honest with you, though, I like Peace Cells, but I got to admit, I think So Far, So Good, So What's probably my second favorite behind Rust in Peace. I love that album. I love Angry Dave. I love Mad Dave. And I hope he brings some of his anger back on this. So far, I like the first single. It doesn't sound like So Far, So Good, So What, but I don't think anything can, because that was in such a pivotal part of their career. But here I'm talking about third albums. What the hell am I doing? Anyways, and just my fun one that I love so much is King Diamond's Abigail. Fatal Portrait. Fantastic album. And I mean, we all know the Merciful Fate albums, and I wanted to pick a Merciful Fate album. I Don't Break the Oath, but I couldn't, because the first album was so landmark that I think the two albums just go together. Like, they're just as good, and one's as good as the other. So I couldn't pick that. But Abigail, just a lot better of a plot. I mean, the whole story, it's amazing. I think they should turn it into a movie. I think that would be really cool. And it's just, I just love it all to hell. So those are my picks, guys.
Cool.
Good picks. Yeah.
Very good picks.
Diverse. We got some,
yes.
No, there's no repeats here. This is
Jim and I have one repeat on the
probably Celtic Frost.
we have one. No.
No.
All right, so I'll start.
I'm curious.
So I'm picking a band, and I know they're not very well known, but a band called Havocate. They only have two albums out. The first album, Cycle of Pain, 2005. And then they released this. Sorry, I got it backwards. The Violent Earth was 2003, but the huge album in 2005 was Cycle of Pain. Great band out of New York. John Malick was the vocalist on the first album, but they brought in Freddie Ordine on the second album. And they also brought in Greg Christian on bass on the second album.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Ron Lipnicki on drums. Great band. If you ever want to hear the second album, go for it. They brought a new vocalist in, Tim Boucher. He's really, really good. They upped the ante on the songs. A lot of solid thrash. Not very well known. It's not a band that's very, very well known. And then sadly enough, they've only had the two albums. But the sophomore album to me is way, way, way better than the first album. But
never heard of it. I'll check it out. Greg Christian, we're talking Greg from Testament.
Yes.
Yeah,
Cool. He was played bass on the second album.
Nice.
So pretty good lineup with the second album, but unfortunately
was he with Testament at the time?
No, I think this was after he left Testament.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because this was 2005. I don't.
Oh, yeah. Much later. Yeah.
I think he was gone by that point.
Okay.
But check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Number 4, this is where Jim and I match, and that's the Megadeth Peace Cells. And
yeah.
Killing Is My Business. I won't say much because Jim already said all of it. But yeah, you're right. I don't even like Killing With My Business. I never listened to it. To be honest, I own it, but I never put it on.
Mm-hmm.
What about the redo?
I don't even like the redo.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it. I don't know. It's something about the album. I can't get into it. To me, Peace Cells is Megadeth. That's where they started in my mind. And that's where they it was a rocket from there. But I just never.
It was probably the Nancy Sinatra cover that turned out.
Yeah,
I
wasn't a fan of that.
These boots.
My late great dad would agree with the two of you because he had the Peace Cells album cover tattooed on his forearm.
Oh, wicked.
That's cool.
Nice. And then so we'll go to my last 3. So number 3, I have Helmet.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Strap It On is a decent album, but Meantime is the best.
Dude. Yeah.
That second album, Paige Hamilton,
Wicked.
Peter Menenge, and Stainer on drums. Like
what an underrated album.
Absolutely.
Totally, dude.
I don't know if they fell a little too outside of metal to be truly appreciated by metalheads. But I did have a lot of friends who did like them. But I just think as far as, I don't know, would you guys class them as metal?
I haven't met a metalhead who doesn't like Meantime. I gotta be honest. Like everybody talks about like, oh, the helmet, but I agree. It was like, I don't know what exactly. I remember it sold like crazy and it was so popular. And maybe a little bit not like, but hit the same way as Faith No More a bit for the real thing, I think it was called.
Yeah.
It came out in 90 or 91. It kind of was a bit different. This might have been a bit different too, but fuck man, it's a killer band.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're a great band. I think Paige Hamilton's a very underrated guitar player.
And I think the album with the girl on the cover, Betty.
Betty.
That's a good album.
Yeah, Betty's pretty good. The stuff, everything after that's sort of okay. Like Monochrome was okay. I like that the album before Monochrome. I forget the name of it, but that was a better album. But
I was just going to say, my friends who were grunge and not really metalheads at the time, they would call this their favorite metal album. So
wow.
Yeah, so that to grunge people, it was a metal album, but to metalheads, it was still, it kind of was metal and a bit different, I think.
Yeah.
Well, it got a lot of play. I know it was, every magazine was talking about it.
Yeah. What year was it, Ken?
92.
92.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Is when it came out. But I always like the album after Betty was Aftertaste. That's the album I really like as well. I really love Aftertaste quite a bit. Super great album. And if you know that Frankie Bello from Anthrax was also in the band for a brief time.
That's right.
He actually left. He left Anthrax for a little bit and then joined them on the touring circuit. He didn't record any albums, but he was with them on the live set.
This was Bush era, right?
Yeah, during Bush era,
yeah.
I gotta be honest though, I didn't know they had a new album out in 23. I'm gonna have to check that out. I have never heard it.
I haven't. It's not bad. The new sound is okay. Like I don't know. I guess for me, they don't have the same bite that they had back in the day. It's still solid work. The guitars are great. It's great guitar playing, but it's not quite the same. It's a whole new band. He's the only really returning member. So like Stainer's gone, Bogdan's gone, Peter Menge's gone. They're all gone. So it's kind of a shame, but Paige is
just the Hamilton show.
Pretty much nowadays. But that's my number 3. Number 2, it's Pleasure to Kill. I mean, I like Endless Pain, but it doesn't compare to Pleasure to Kill. That is such a wicked album. Pleasure to Kill. It's just, I love that album. I just love that album.
Yeah.
Endless Pain is kind of okay. It's starting something, but it's really raw around the edges, and I don't think it has the same impact that Pleasure to Kill. And oddly enough, when we started Thrashcast, that was the first album we actually covered.
Yeah, that's right.
So obviously we all love that album, and it deserves all the accolades it gets. And then my number 1, basically, this is not a surprise, but it's Anthrax. Spreading the Disease to me is a way better album than Metal. I know you like it, Jim, but I do not.
I love Spreading the Disease, probably my second favorite Anthrax album. I love the first one, but I do love Spreading the Disease is great. I love it.
See, for me, it's like night and day. The first album is just strictly like a metal album.
Yeah.
Not even thrash. The second album is when they brought in Joey and started developing their thrash roots. And I think it's a great record. Madhouse is such a great song. I totally love that song. All the songs are great on it. There's not one song I don't like on that album.
Was Johnny Z involved with this, with Spreading?
Yes, he was. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Johnny Z was there. So it's a great record. But yeah, I just full of I don't know. I think it's an okay album. There's a couple of songs I don't mind, but it's just I don't listen to it. I just never.
Well, I mean, Spreading the Disease is where they developed their sound.
It's like Megadeth, Peace Cells. That's where they developed their sound.
Yeah.
So the
And
second
you're
album,
right. Like the first album was just a metal album. It wasn't an Anthrax album. It was just.
I mean, really, at the end of the day, the strongest band for albums. I mean, Metallica would have had a strong second and, well, first, second, third, and fourth. All four albums are great. It's hard for me to say one album is better than the other.
Yeah, but here's the difference. I think
Yeah.
like you said, I mean, Spreading the Disease is nothing like the first
Yes.
album. Like
No, no.
but
Fistful,
he,
yeah.
I mean, and then the leap between Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning is huge
Mhm.
too.
Yeah.
Like, but
True,
Kill 'Em
true.
All is a better album than the first Anthrax album. That's the
Yeah,
only
Oh,
I would
yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
that's the only reason we I think it wasn't such a leap forward. Like the Metallica sound was still there, but with these two Anthrax albums, the Anthrax sound wasn't in the first album.
No, no, the style they were still, I guess, finding their way, and it was just more like yeah, just like plain
Are you
metal.
a fan of Neil at all, or
I am.
yeah?
I don't mind Neil Turbin. He's okay. I've seen him live. He played he played well vocals for Onslaught with their
That's
one of their
right.
tours about like 8 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
So when Cy Keeler was taking a break, they brought in Neil to sing the vocals, and I thought he was okay. He didn't know it was all right, but that was the only time I've ever seen Neil live was with that band. But
Well, he's coming back to Toronto, I think, in 2 weeks or next week.
who Neil?
Oh,
I think, well, he's playing Montreal and Toronto. I think he's doing all Fistful of Neil or Fistful of Turbin, it's
Oh,
called.
that's right. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't know. I don't have the urge to see it. I just
Yeah.
like I don't really want to go watch it, to be honest.
I want to see Bush do Bush era Anthrax.
Well, yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, but he's gonna
Yeah.
do that with yeah, that I wouldn't mind seeing because
Yeah.
apparently Scott Ian actually
Yes.
called him up and asked him if he needed another guitar player.
He said, "Do you want 3 guitar players?
Yeah.
I'm willing to come and
I'm willing to
be
come.
in any." Yeah, isn't that wicked?
Yeah, that's cool. Well, it just goes to show you that they still have a good relationship,
Yeah.
even though he's no longer the singer in the band. But yeah, that's cool. I agree with you, Jimmy. I would like to see that.
Yeah,
I'd pay to see that.
yeah.
I don't know if there's going to be any touring in like into Canada though. With
Nah, I
that,
don't think so. They're only doing a few shows. Yeah.
which kind of
you
sucks.
guys mentioned you're maybe doing Bonded by Blood.
We're talking
Possibly.
about it, yeah. That's what Billy wants to do. Yeah.
Maybe I'm gonna piss Billy off by saying this, but I feel like Bonded by Blood to me doesn't sound like an Exodus album.
Well, that's
Am I
fine.
crazy?
Yeah. No. I don't think you're. I mean, I like Bonded by Blood. I don't mind the album, but it's not my favorite album from
No,
them.
his favorite album's Pleasures of the Flesh, right?
Yeah. And Fabulous Disaster. I love those two albums.
But so we're talking about Anthrax's first, Fistful.
Yeah. Yeah,
Doesn't sound like Anthrax. Would you agree that Bonded just, to me, it just doesn't.
No, it's not like the second album. No, you're
Yeah,
right.
Like I think it's a total shift in sound. Like
well, because of the vocalist. I think a lot of that's got to do
Yeah.
with the vocalist though. Sousa's was a much more seasoned vocalist.
Yeah.
When you think about it, right? Don't you
yeah,
think?
I know people love that album. I don't like it.
Bonded.
Yeah.
I like Bonded. I mean,
I like it.
It's not my favorite Exodus album. I know Billy was saying after he was when we way back when we were going to cover it, he was saying he thought it was better than the first Metallica album, which I was like,
Yeah,
I
no.
don't know about that. I don't know about that, but
Yeah.
but again, that's fine. I mean, everyone has a perspective. Right?
Yep, that's right. Yep.
Everyone's got a perspective. I don't know if I would rank it that high. I like the album.
I think it's Zetro's just you're right. It's the vocals. Zetro's just a better vocalist in my opinion.
I prefer Zetro because I'm used to him, and I think he is a better vocalist. Beloff was all right, but I don't know. I don't even know if he had the ability to do long term. Like what would have sounded like if Beloff actually stayed in the band?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
And they kicked him out because they knew he was kind of wacko. Well, it's true, right? I mean, they generally kicked him out of the band because the guy was.
Yeah, he was unhinged. Yeah,
he was unhinged. Yeah, exactly. Unhinged is a better word for it. But so I mean, then you bring in Zetro, and then I don't know. I mean, I think Pleasures of the Flesh is a great album. Fabulous Disaster is a fucking killer album. I totally love that album. we covered it on Thrashcast, but yeah, we love that. We love that album.
Yep.
But you're right. You're right.
Cool.
I think Bonded. You're right. That's a good point. It's a very good point.
That'd be a cool list to do. Albums, maybe you already did this, but albums that don't sound like albums from, like their core sound.
No, we haven't done that yet, but that would be a good list to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. That would be a good list to do. Because there's a lot of bands who had a core sound and changed, like,
yeah.
And then became something else. I mean, you like In Flames to me is the worst one ever. They started out one way and then went to something else.
Opeth.
I mean, yeah, Death, you're right. That's a good one, Jimmy.
No, Opeth.
Opeth, yeah.
I mean, they didn't do it in their first album, but like they changed in what, their fourth album, and then they lost me until their last album.
even Slayer to some degree.
Yeah, you're right. But I mean, it's
when they were still wearing spandex and makeup.
Oh, yeah. That's very, very true.
And then Metallica was like, "You guys shouldn't wear spandex and makeup," and they're like, "Okay."
Oh yeah. Then what do? Cut their fucking hair and put on the eyeliner. Come on.
Yeah.
And then start
Pantera,
dressing like a bunch of alternative. Yeah, Pantera. Yeah, like what's going on there?
There's so many. There's so many we could do. That'd be a fun list.
It would be a fun list because you're right. There are so many bands. I mean, every band changes. It doesn't matter who the band is. Nobody stays the same, really.
Yeah, but there are some egregious.
Oh yeah. Well, we can all agree on that. Yeah. You're right. I totally agree with that. But there are some bands that make changes, and it's for the better.
Well, I mean, Jimmy brought up Priest. The change in that sound was fucking night and day too.
Yeah,
that's true.
And both eras were great.
Oh yeah, and then I love the fact you could even say there's a third change when they brought out Painkiller, because they went to more of a thrash sound.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's one that did
that
three.
On Thrashcast too. So
that's right.
And Mr. Jason.
Yeah, Jason did it with us.
Yep.
Yes, sir. That was the pick. Was a good. That was a good show too.
Yeah.
But you're right. We could go on for hours with that kind of
We could. We better end it, or else we're going to be here till 2 a.m.
Yeah, we're all old men, so we all need to get to sleep and go to our jobs. All right, guys. Yeah, so we'll call it a night. We don't know what we're doing next week. Now, Billy may be returning, so we're looking forward to having our third compatriot back to the band. Well, part of our band, I guess. Hopefully,
Band of Brothers.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he's up for the task. And Jason, we do appreciate you filling in all this.
Absolutely.
You had a good time with you on with us.
Been a blast.
4
Thank
episodes.
you for having me.
Oh yeah, no problem, dude. No problem.
And I'm sure we'll meet again. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, we're going to, because Metal Sounds. We are launching a second podcast for horror related, and Jason and I will be co-hosting it together. So that's something that we're going to be doing. And I know, Jim, we've already asked you to come on and contribute, because I know you like horror too. So
I want to do the Puppet Master trilogies.
We can
not trilogy, the Puppet Master whole.
Yes.
There must be 7 of them.
Yeah, we can do that. I love those movies. They're lots of fun.
Yeah.
So for sure. All right, guys. So I appreciate you coming on and talking about this album. And I guess we'll just sign off for the evening. And
Great.
We will see you all next week.
Thank you, guys. Cheers, everyone.